Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart, Anarchy 99.
Ooh boy, Love Will Tear Us Apart. That's interesting.
Joy Division was actually
I've heard the name Joy Division before.
a terrible thing. It was a group of women that the Nazis would...
The comfort women.
Yeah, they were called the Joy Division.
Ooh.
That's an awesome name for a band, but good lord. Love Will Tear Us Apart. Is that the official video?
I don't know.
I hope it's not the official video, because that's the one that they wanted?
Yeah.
Click on the link. Let me see.
It is. This is the one.
Is that the official video?
I don't know, but it's Anarchy 99. That means Zonia's involved. I feel like Zonia would know.
Zonia would know what?
Not to send us something that would get blocked. Blocked.
Alright, let's see. Love Will Tear Us Apart.
Yeah.
That's the official video.
Yeah.
From the band Joy Division.
Yeah. Well, what do you want to do? You want to not do that?
I mean, it might get blocked, but let's roll the dice. Dear listener, just so you know, you'll see other reaction channels. I'm pretty sure every other reaction channel stops and cuts up the video. Like, they'll interrupt the song. And a lot of people don't realize why that happens. That happens because YouTube will send you a nice little nifty thingy like this. And it says, we are taking any monetization you would have had from this song and giving it to the record label because they put out a claim. It doesn't hurt your channel, but what it does do is it takes away your monetization. We figured to circumvent that problem by paying the video from start to finish all the way through, and that's why we do Patreon, because Patreon makes it up on the back end. $1 at the gate, $5, $10, you get different tiers, yada, yada, yada. But that's why we do Patreon, because you're not going to make any money off of this video. Now, the only thing that I'm concerned about is you, at times, about 85% of the time, you will get the video blocked if you do the official video from the band. So not only will you be demonetized, they will literally block the video so other people can't see it. So for everybody in an alliance, try to refrain from doing, from sending us links with like the official video, because those are in danger of getting actually blocked. We're going to do it anyway, and
we'll roll the dice.
We'll roll the dice, and if not, if it doesn't work out and we get a block notification, then Sori will have come up with another solution, and so that would explain why we're not watching the actual official video that you guys sent. Having said that, Joy Division, Love Will Tear Us Apart. Just give me 1 second. Let me get the lyrics up, and then we'll be good to go. That's an interesting title, huh?
Yeah, I'm very curious to know where they're going to go with that.
I know. Let's go.
Ready?
Yep.
Go. Wow. That was really sad. His voice was really deep and sounded older than he was, didn't it?
Yeah.
Thought he did really well with that. I like the sound of his voice on that. The song itself was very sad, though. Do you think that it's like relationships themselves and like the way that things are in relationships, or do you think that he said, "You cry out in your sleep, all my failings exposed." So do you think that he did something and then you know how it seems like it's kind of like a common theme is they kind of like cheat on when they were doing their band things, because then he says, then love will tear us apart again. Like maybe he's calling it love what he has with somebody else, or do you think it's just for instance, sometimes when we have an argument, I feel like it's because we love each other so much that like we're unwilling to just let something go, because when you let certain things go, like you accept certain distances between your two hearts, but if you fight for the closeness of those things, like it can end up, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how, do you understand what I'm saying, what I'm trying to communicate?
Yeah.
Like when you fight for certain closenesses, sometimes that fight kind of ends up tearing you apart, but
there's a lot of
love that you're trying to...
There's a lot of ways to interpret the phrase "love will tear us apart." The reason I don't necessarily go there is because he says when routine bites hard and ambitions are low, and resentments ride high, but emotions won't grow, and we're changing our ways. We're taking different roads.
Yeah.
So then, whatever this means, love will tear us apart again.
It happens during it. Yeah.
This is one of those relationships where the thing is obviously over, and he's just in a routine, and he doesn't really have any ambitions to win her heart. You know, that's how I'm interpreting it. His ambition is low. It can't be low like universally, because then he wouldn't be in a band. Like obviously, if you're in a band, you've got some ambition, and they made it. So, and resentment rides high, and emotions won't grow. And then he says, our respect runs so dry. Remember, we had the book, Love and Respect. The woman needs love, the man needs respect, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So he's got no ambition to chase her, and it looks like she doesn't really respect him so much. So that's the end of that. It could be another girl, or love will tear us apart. Might be about. It's an ironic term because love is supposed to bring people together. And so whatever's happening, whatever he's calling love is tearing them apart. So like we're watching a show right now where this guy and his wife is out having these other pursuits with these guys, and then he's out with these girls, and they both kind of know, and they're still they've kind of come to a mutual agreement and understanding, and they're just going with it. And it's kind of like, why are you guys still together? Like, what is going on? But even this relationship sounds worse than the TV relationship I'm describing, because it just they have nothing like for each other, like emotionally. Like it seems like they're just like emotionally spent. The resentment rides high, but he doesn't have any emotions. He says emotion won't grow. Of course, resentment is an emotion. But I think what he's talking about is
preventing good emotions from growing.
Positive emotions, right?
Yeah.
So
we're changing our ways, taking different roads, and I think that that's what happens when you start, like, you're growing apart from each other. You're taking different roads.
Well, that's the biggest challenge in relationships is like, that I've seen is like the balance of being your own person, being your own self-contained unit, while simultaneously realizing that your life is now intertwined with somebody else.
Yeah.
And how not to lose your own identity while simultaneously not becoming so self-contained that there's no room for the other person. And that's a hell of a balance. That's like the first 10 years of marriage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like is finding that, and even biblically, like God gave Adam some time by himself, and Eve quickly found out that Adam was not, gonna be her knight in shining armor when there's a situation. So
Clearly.
and you see clearly afterwards that Eve.
That's what I was thinking of.
She develops her own relationship with God away from Adam.
Yep.
Because it doesn't seem that Adam shares her spirituality or all the rest of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So it's. I think about it with us because we spend so much time together, like abnormal time, because we work together, like we live together, we work together. There's no time when like I'm out or you're out. Like if I'm going to the store, you're most likely going to the store and vice versa. Mm-hmm. And so it's like I'm not, but I like it.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And you like it. I don't really see us changing, in 5 years. Although I need time to myself, and I think you need time to yourself from time to time too. But inshallah, we get a house where we're not all on top of each other, and, we'll be able to have. I'm very much looking forward to that. But I think it's a really, really hard balance, and it's just it's a sad. Because the thing is that I feel like, see, this didn't happen in my previous relationship. Like, it wasn't one of those things where the just emotions were just deadened and there was no, it was just so volatile all the time. It was almost the opposite was the issue. Was that things were just so volatile and you didn't know what to expect, and you things were just so crazy, and a lot of it was just like the exhaustion of like having to prepare yourself for another horrible traumatic situation to happen for X plus years. So I didn't really like we're never really able to get into a routine because things were so chaotic. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, but toward the end with me and her, there was a ton of resentment on both sides, which I like to look into my side of myself, and I think as far as I go, I think most of the resentment is gone. Maybe I'm deceiving myself. It's very possible, but I was never in one of these situations where like we just got stuck in routine and then the thing just died off and then we just took disparate paths. Like it wasn't like that. It was just go, move. Changing. Like it was pretty terrible. But what are you thinking? You got like a funny look right
it's weird because I feel like, I've been thinking a lot about the way that I am and the way that I function as a person. We've talked a lot about how if something's not my ideal, I will make it my ideal because I want to have my ideal.
Right.
So when I look at this and it says when routine bites hard and ambitions are low, that happened, but I wouldn't allow myself to acknowledge that. You know what I mean? I was like, no, ambitions are not low. I'm definitely, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like I did feel bored by certain things and routines kind of started getting to me, and I felt, I've always kind of been like that. Like I've told you, when I was a kid, I used to hope that my parents would get divorced, which was crazy. I mean, now that I see what the poor kids have had to go through with us having to go through divorces, that wouldn't have been fun for me. But I wanted them to get divorced because everything was just so normal and everything was so routine. Yeah, and I realized my mom wasn't going to have any more kids. So I thought, but if she remarries, then I'll have more kids on mom's side and more kids on dad's side. Like, I'll have more siblings. Like, so I just thought... And
How old were you?
I don't know. Anywhere from probably 8 to 12, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
I just realized stuff because I remember always kind of hoping that my mom was going to have another baby, and then I remember asking her, "Are you ever going to have another baby?" And she said no, that there was absolutely no way she was going to have another baby. That was something that they had decided it was never going to happen. And I was like, like when I realized that was super, super disappointing to me. I wanted a little baby brother, a baby sister.
Your solution was they get divorced so that you could have
some action.
But
I've told you that. Like, there's probably some medical wacky thing that's wrong with me, because I also I remember being in the car on multiple occasions thinking, I hope there's a funeral that pops off soon. Because the funerals were more interesting than just regular life. People would be crying.
Yeah.
You'd get to see...
Yeah, no, I don't.
And it's really demented.
I don't know. Maybe you do think this way, but I don't see myself as a chaos element in your life. But I don't ever see us in a situation where we would get stuck in routine and get bored. Like, I feel like
No.
I would figure something out.
No, we're not going to get stuck in routine and get bored because you have itchy feet, more itchy than mine. But you are a chaos element in my life in that I don't know from day to day how you're going to be feeling. Like, in my past relationship, it was basically the same. Like, you knew what to expect every single day. Every day. It was basically the same. And you could expect the same from me because if, I was feeling depressed, I was going to hide that. So, but, there's days where you could be happy one day and then the next day you're all introverted. And there's days where I just wake up and I just feel all depressed, like, so day to day, there's no guarantee that.
Yeah, well, this guy seems to me to be a morose type of figure himself.
I love how the kids are being so loud when they go recording.
Your kids, what are you gonna do?
Go downstairs.
You cried in your sleep, all my feelings exposed.
That part, there's a taste in my mouth as desperation takes hold, was interesting.
Just said something so good. Yeah, that to me is kind of like maybe he cheated on her, and it's one of those relationships where she'll never address it directly, but her subconscious is going out saying, "You cheating bastard," and all that. Just that something so good just can't function no more.
Yeah, so maybe they had something good before, but...
Oh, yeah, that's the thing. It's like they had it, and, that's why, I was telling the boys about, being faithful and all that. We're talking about marriage in our little Bible time or whatever, and I was talking about my main motivator is that whether or not the girl forgives you, it's something is fundamentally changed that you will never ever get back, ever, even if she forgives you. Like, it's possible that she forgives you,
yeah.
and it's very, it may happen that she forgives you, but the kind of relationship that you had before you did that act is never ever going to return, ever. And so I just couldn't do that. I said, just leave her before you do that. So like you're never really ever going to be able to get that back again. And so like, but it's a weird situation, because if that happened, then why did she stay with him? And then, isn't it on her to say it can't function anymore? Whereas he's saying that, like, I see the other thing too, where it's just like, I always get caught in this conundrum, like, because I'm like, if I ever did something like that, I would just leave, like, but then I think to myself, like, well, shouldn't she be able to call that play? Like, what if she wanted to keep working at it? Me, I even if you wanted to, I don't think I'd be able to yeah. So I was just saying, like, there's things in the moment, you might get caught in a certain moment, fellas, but you got to think about that. Like, everything that you built with this girl, do you really, really want to put that up for, and even if she forgives you and you quote unquote get away with, that's a big thing I tell them, like, nobody gets away with anything. When you're a kid, you don't really understand that, because all you're worried about is being grounded and things like that. You don't understand, the metaphysics of how these things work and how certain lines get crossed in relationships that never can get uncrossed and things like that. So I was like really kind of like pushing that to them, because I mean that's a very, very hard thing to come back from. And I think that at this point he's just like, why are we still together? Like, who knows?
Look at this. Okay, so this came out in
1980.
1980. Look right here. The lyrics. Read this. He committed suicide in 1980.
Yikes. Yeah, he killed himself in May, and this came out in when?
June.
Oh, so he didn't even see how this song got received, because he was dead by the time they released it. SubhanAllah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, he sounded pretty depressed.
Yeah, he did.
Good night. It's tough, man. It's tough stuff. What an ironic name. Joy Division. Yeah, that's tough. So, I mean, Yikes, rest in peace to Big Homie.
Yeah.
What a sad, sad song.
Yeah. He didn't look that old either. He looks like a little boy.
Well,
How old was he?
I don't know. What's his name? Curtis? Ian Curtis?
Yep, right there it says he wasn't faithful to his wife while he was on tour.
He died.
And they had a kid too.
He was born in 56. He died in 1980, so he wasn't even 30. It's like 24. And she died in 1980? Oh, no, she was his spouse from 1975 to 1980. Brutal. Brutal, man. That's rough. Yeah, it looks like he was 24.
Oh god. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tough stuff. Yeah, it looks like he was never really able to
Recover from that.
Well,
Ugh.
and a lot of times dudes will do stuff like that when they're depressed too. So it's like a chicken under the egg thing. Yeah, you know, it's the hardest part of this channel, I think, is getting introduced to these brilliant artists who are most of the time tormented, and then finding out that they're dead, either from an OD or self-inflicted or whatever.
Oh god, he looks so depressed in this video. Oh.
Yeah, it's probably the last video I ever shot.
Oh.
It's just sad. It's really sad, bro. And then you wonder, like, you write songs like this, and then you take your own life, and then now your wife gets to hear this song. You know, and it's like,
that's absolutely heartbreaking when when he was talking about she turns the other way. But it's like,
yeah.
You didn't even give me a space to be able to be angry about what you did.
Right.
And now I have to mourn your loss.
Yeah.
It almost makes you want to be more angry, but then you can't be angry because he's dead. It just really puts somebody in a very, very terrible situation.
It's a horrible. Look, as a person who survived it multiple occasions, like, you immediately blame yourself anyway, and you immediately start thinking about ways that you could have you could have done things differently. So then she ends,
Yeah.
It's brutal.
Geez.
It's really
That's so sad.
it's a really difficult thing to deal with. But, and of course, with these guys, like, it's not like he put it together. It's not. I don't believe he was like, "Yep, I'm gonna make this song and say this about her, and then I'm gonna off myself, and then she's gonna have to carry it." Like,
Right.
I don't think that that's what happened. I just think that he made the song because he was expressing himself about how he felt, and then and then he did that because that's how he felt, and the two are not related as far as like how it's going to affect other people. And it's like I had a family member that did themselves in on the 4th of July, with a gun, and so she was not thinking like, hey, that every 4th of July he's going to be hearing stuff popping off that sounds like a gunshot, and he's going to be thinking about me. Like, she wasn't thinking like that. Mm-hmm. She was thinking about getting the hell out of the pain that she was in, and
Yep. Yeah, I always think of that because, growing up, the 4th of July was really fun, the fireworks, the excitement, the everything, and I always feel like, I feel like, obviously sad, about her situation and different stuff, but then there's always a part of me that feels like she robbed something from the kids because the kids don't really experience the 4th of July. Like, it's kind of a hard time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I know that even regardless, the 4th of July is not really something that you would be super interested in celebrating. But, like, even just outside of everything, like, just because of what the 4th of July means.
No, the 4th of July used to be a pretty cool holiday for us as kids growing up, actually.
Yeah, it was for us, too. I know it was for you.
Yeah, there was one stretch where, like, a Batman movie would come out every 4th of July.
Really?
And we would go and we'd watch Batman, then we'd go to McDonald's, and then we'd set off fireworks in the backyard or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it was actually a pretty cool experience for us for a couple years. So Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not the same anymore, and I don't, the kids don't know, so.
No, we just don't do anything, so.
Yeah, I mean, we can do stuff on 4th of July, like.
But I always feel like that's, like, if I plan something, I feel like you've planned a party and, like, you're sad and, like, it just feels like.
Well, I'm not necessarily sad every 4th of July. It's just a, it's, that that's when that person that was a big part of your life is no longer there. It doesn't necessarily mean that, like I could have a good 4th of July with the kids and have it go good for them and all that. I just wasn't going to do the thing last year. You know what I'm saying? Like, the thing last year, I was, there are different reasons for why I wasn't going to do the thing last year, because
yeah,
that's a separate thing. But yeah, I don't have a problem with, like, creating another, I'm just saying, like, the thought process in these people's head they don't think, and that's the thing about, doing something like that to yourself. Like, you're just thinking about yourself, and I'm not saying that in an accusatory way. I'm just saying that there are other ramifications to what would happen to the people around you that you probably don't think about.
Yep.
And I have no judgment for people in that situation because depression is a hell of a thing. So, that's neither here nor there. But anyway, the song isn't really about him killing himself, though. The song is about the issues he and his wife had, and I think it's a very honest sort of look at things. And I didn't really see a lot of finger pointing, like he was saying that she turns away from him or whatever.
But he's saying, is my timing that flawed?
Yeah.
Well, that's obviously not the issue. It's not about your timing. It's about, you know what I mean?
Well, again, we don't know where in the timeline that, and just because somebody says it on the side doesn't mean that that's what the song is about. That's just their opinion. That's why I never look at that stuff. But he, like, I'm pretty sure, like, in every relationship, you know what I mean? And so I don't really see a lot of finger pointing or taking a responsibility. It's just, this is is what happens in relationships. They die off,
Yeah.
What do you give it?
It's a silent count for me. It's just too connected with the stuff I read on the side.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't read those things at the side. I mean, to me, I'm gonna give it a good solid 9. Obviously sad about the way he ended his life, but I don't think that this song is about that. I just think it's about what happens in relationships that, that die. So there you go. Love one another, I guess. Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.
Respect one soul.